we've been there, but again, he says they don't tell us everything. Like maybe there is stuff on the moon that maybe it's not. There is an atmosphere of some sort, or maybe there is more gravity, or maybe there is stuff that they're not telling us. You got to remember, we only know what they feed us, you know. And I do know that the Apollo 11 capsule was only 2.5 inches in the thickest, and that's very thin. Just saying.
Well, yeah, it's funny because when Mr. Noss was on the show, he said that he has pictures of the backside of the moon where it looks like trees are growing. Now, if you had no atmosphere at all, trees aren't going to grow. They need oxygen to grow. And that tells me that maybe we've been lied to. Again, maybe I'm totally wrong. And maybe I right now, I don't want to go to the moon in a spaceship and then be in a spacesuit and go out of the lander and then take and open up my, visor to find out if there's air out there or not. But it makes me wonder, could we have been lied to? There's some reason we never went back to the moon.
Right.
The last time we went to the moon, they had more rockets at that time. We were set to go back again and again and again. But all of a sudden, it was like we didn't go back. Now, it couldn't be because we didn't have the money, because they already had the rockets. In fact, they just got rid of the last remaining rocket. They donated it here a couple weeks ago. But they had a bunch of extra rockets. They actually had an extra couple capsules. They were set to go. But then all of a sudden, they decided we're not going back anymore. So it makes me wonder, again, if we were told not to go back, and maybe we were convinced for some reason what would happen if we did go back.
True. And, one of the things I was researching today that came up a lot is that we had bases on the dark side of the moon, and that we did. Now, I've asked another thing. We've seen all kind of footage from Neptune. We got more footage from Neptune and other planets of what they are and look like than we do. Do you remember looking at any extensive footage of the backside of the moon?
That's the hard part. You sit there and you watch documentaries about the moon, right? Do they show really anything of the backside of the moon? It's always on the part of the moon that faces the Earth. Now, we have sent satellites around the moon. We have sent men around the moon. But where is all the pictures? There's very few pictures of the backside of the moon. And the ones that have survived or we got our hands on, I'm not saying me, but I'm saying where people have got their hands on pictures of the backside of the moon. Some of those pictures, like smokestacks, like you mentioned, it looks like domes. It looks like there's a pyramid on the moon. It definitely looks like there's trees in one area of the moon. And there looks like there's all kinds of different structures on the moon. Now, why isn't that been, they don't even deny it, really. They don't talk about it like it's non-existent.
No, they call them some kind of anomalies or whatever, but you can't blow off that. Listen, that video of the smokestack, it's sticking out of the moon, and I'm telling you, there's a plume of smoke, and it's either taken from a camera on the outside of the one of the Apollos, or they're filming it out the window. But as they're orbiting the moon, they're going over it, and you can see it plain as day, Gary. I mean, there's no denying what it is. It's not pareidolia or any of that stuff. You can see the smoke coming out of this smokestack.
Well, if this stuff is existing, okay, if there's smoke coming out of a smokestack on the moon, regardless, okay, even if it was coming from the inner side of the moon, like it's a spear, a giant UFO or a giant, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
There has to be some type of atmosphere to disperse that smoke when it comes up. Otherwise, the smoke wouldn't even go out. Okay? There would be no way. And if they had something to pump it out, it still wouldn't disperse. It would just kind of like linger there. So you wouldn't even see the smokestacks. You wouldn't see anything around it because it would be all smoke. Now, that tells me that, like Mr. Noss says, there might be some type of atmosphere there. And we've been lied to.
And you know what? I kind of agree with you on that because I'm going to tell you why. Now, picture this. Supposedly the moon has no atmosphere at all, nothing. So if you're on the moon, which is relatively way smaller than the Earth, there's no atmosphere at all. And those pictures, you should be able to see nothing but stars. You don't see one star in none of those thousands of pictures. There's no stars. So maybe there is some kind of atmosphere that's blocking them out, and they're not letting us know, because there's got to be an explanation besides the lame ones they give why you don't see no stars in those pictures.
Well, all I know is if you have a telescope, you can, or even a camera, a cell phone with a adapter lens you can put on your cell phone, you can zoom in and you get pictures of these craters of the moon. But maybe the moon was humanoid made or something. And we are only seeing what they want to show us, what's facing towards Earth. And the backside could be totally opposite.
And that's the thing. You know, we have hardly ever seen our oceans, but yet we've seen more of our oceans in the backside of the moon. We know more about Neptune and Pluto and all these and asteroids bodies out in the middle of nowhere than we know about the backside of the moon. Where's all these pictures of the backside of the moon? It's just like that's a mystery in itself. Well,
you get more pictures, honestly, of Mars, than you do of the moon. It's really strange. It's like maybe they're trying to hide something from us. That's what I think.
Right, and what's the moon? It's like 250,000 miles, give or take, and Mars is what, 36 million miles, and we got more pictures of Mars than we have anything on the dark side of the moon. And that there alone tells me that there's either maybe other beings on the other side, or us, or both, or something.
Well, something is there creating, if there is a smokestack or smokestacks on the backside of the moon, is something is in the moon or on the moon creating the smoke for some reason. Are they mining the moon for the helium? Or is it nothing more than a artificial planet? And there's no helium on it. It's used as a giant hotel with huge telescopes facing Earth to look at, the Earth is nothing more than a zoo. So all these people from all these different galaxies come to the moon as a resort to be able to watch us.
Yeah, you guys want to go on safari, just go right down there and do all your safari and your experimenting and your classes and your hunting, and there's a buffet over there and over here, and do what you got to do. Well, yeah, I can see that.
Oh, yeah. Well, anyway, if somebody has a story they want to share, and it has to be at least over an hour long story, you can contact us at nightdreamstalkradio@gmail.com. That's nightdreamstalkradio.com. I love to get some more stories from truckers. You know, things that they see out on the road, scary things and stuff like that.
Oh boy, truckers do see some scary stuff out there. I had a few reports that came in. I've got them on logs somewhere. But one, what was it? Oh, one trucker seen a Bigfoot just recently, too, that came out on the road in front of him.
Well, yeah, all kinds of things. Mothman has all of a sudden kind of dried up in the last week or two.
Yeah, I haven't heard much about Mothman reports. Been getting a lot of UFO reports popping in all over the place, especially western Pennsylvania, which is in Ryan's neck of the woods. Ryan Fusco's and about 100 miles east of me, but there's been a lot of reports western Pennsylvania come in on UFOs, and yeah, a lot of dogman sightings have been coming in now and again, but not much. And Bigfoot's been increasing, but the Mothman has kind of died off, especially in the Illinois Rosemont area.
It's interesting about, again, there was somebody who was posting up on media like yesterday that UFO sightings have really dropped the past year. Well, I don't know where they're getting their reports from, but that's not the case. Everything I have looked at, it shows that, sightings of UFOs are actually drastically increasing, not drying up. I don't know how that somebody could sit there and say, well, they're drying up.
No, one of the news reports I did tonight, it's huge on the rise, 6,000 reports. It's 3,395 more reports from 2019, higher than it was from 2018. That was on my news report earlier tonight.
Yeah, well, what's that say right there? That there's more sightings. So I don't know. For every bit of information we get about UFOs and aliens and stuff like that, right away it's disinformation. So you got another group out there, the same thing. It's like politics, somebody will sit there and slam one candidate, then, the other ones slam the other. It's the same thing with the paranormal. So if somebody comes out and makes a statement about, well, there's a lot more sightings of UFOs and people being abducted, you're going to get this group out there that denies that UFOs exist. They deny that aliens exist and people aren't being abducted. So they come back and they put disinformation out.
Yeah, matter of fact, in that same story, I don't know if I reported it, but it was in the same report that I got. Your state, Washington, Florida, and California was some of the most reports through 2019.
Oh, yeah. And by the way, earthquakes in California yesterday, they had a 3.5 earthquake.
Yeah, that's another thing, Gary. That's what's on the rise. Earthquakes from Alaska, California, even Tennessee, Missouri, New York State. There's some in Canada, and that's within the last week to 10 days. And then you add on to that, all these volcanoes all over the world starting to pop up and fluster.
Yeah, and there's a lot. There's 3 active volcanoes going off right now. That is really scary.
Right. And all this seismic activity, and here's another one. This, I don't know many people know this yet. There's a supervolcano in California. I can't think of the mountain system it's in, but you can look on Google Map. There's a lake there in the supervolcano, and the gases is in the land. It's killing all the trees, and it's really seeping out big time. And they say that's a prelude to other things to come.
Well, we'll find out. I mean, that's the funny thing is there's a lot of strange going ons right now. Antarctica is speeding up the melting even faster as we talk. Earthquakes are happening all over the world. We got volcanoes popping off now on a regular basis. People have died recently, like in New Zealand, because of a volcano eruption. I don't know, James. It's scary. What are we going to be moving into in the future? It seems like we're going to be going into a lot more climate changes that we're not even prepared for. Well, anyway, for tonight, we're going to wrap the show. If you're listening on one of the radio stations after the break, you got another hour of Night Dreams Talk Radio. Again, check out our website at www.nightdreamstalkradio.com. And everybody, I want you to have a good one.
Bye-bye.
You and I were living in the strangest of times on my hill, watching while the cities rise from the cleft that we left when the sun beat it down.